Ridiculous liberal bail reform policy is now at the center of the horrific Christmas parade attack that killed 5 people and injured 48 others. We're now learning the suspect, career criminal Darrell Brooks, was out on a $1,000 bond and set free just days before this terrible tragedy. Brooks was charged with punching his girlfriend and then trying to intentionally run her over with his car. And police saying he was fleeing another domestic violence incident before driving into the parade.
We have information that the suspect prior to the incident was involved in a domestic disturbance, which was just minutes prior. And the suspect left that scene just prior to our arrival to that domestic disturbance. We actually had a squad and barricades up, and he drove right through.
The Milwaukee County District Attorney is now launching an internal review into what he's calling an inappropriately low bail amount. Yeah, Judge, this DA is the guy that likes low bail. He ran on that.
Yeah, he did run on it. So, I like what he's doing. What he's doing here is he's saying, I'm going to take care of this, everybody, no problem. I don't know who the lowest person on the totem pole is who went to court on this case, but that person is in big trouble. No, it's you, the DA, who's in big trouble. And I'll tell you why. This is a rap sheet, okay? It's got, I understand it to have 50 pages. What you don't know, in addition to what we know from the news, and that is that he had a felony charged against him in July of 2020. He was already out on bail, had another felony charged against him on November 2nd, and he has been violated for bail. And then he goes to court on November 5th, and they give him bail at $1,000. But that's not the least of it. This guy, in all of these charges, he's a batterer, he's a drug addict, he's been carrying a gun since he was 18 years old, and he got all the benefits of the criminal justice system. But where he's caused strangulation against one woman, then he causes strangulation against another woman or the same woman. This time it has to be a felony, and they force the prosecutor to file a felony. But you go through this, and through all the police arrests, there's no prosecution. So this guy has used the system. The DA is the person who's at fault here, not the bail law, that you would allow a guy who just jumped bail to give him $1,000 bail is ridiculous.
And, Greg, if you watch CNN, it is a red SUV that's responsible for this carnage.
It's not his fault. He was fleeing a knife fight. All right. So the root cause here is knife violence, and he was just a victim of systemic knife violence. Also, I mean, an SUV, think of the carbon footprint. Whoever thought that putting violent criminals back on the streets was a wise decision? I think under the rubric of reform, we let our brains spill out of our skulls. It's like we are releasing piranhas into an aquarium of goldfish. And it's not just with bail reform, it's this stuff like this. It's also interesting how the stories, depending on what narrative they sell, are turned off or turned on. I could do the story like, what if this guy was white? Because they were doing the thing with Rittenhouse. Yeah. What if this guy was black? But it's obvious that this story fulfills the wrong narrative, so it's not going to be wall-to-wall coverage. They're going to say, the same people that said Rittenhouse intentionally went to Kenosha to murder these guys will say that this career criminal unintentionally killed people, and how soon before they label him, a victim.
And the police chief said today he's charging him with 5 counts of intentional homicide. And we've been investigating a social media footprint, Harold. Man, I can't confirm it yet, but this guy is bad news. Bad news.
From his social media?
Bad
I could go by his actions.
How about we confirm it?
Bad news. I'm talking about motivation.
Right.
I'm talking about motivation.
Look, there's not much to add to this. This guy, Judge, I love the way you, or I should say, I appreciate the way you analyze this. Is the bail reform. We should have bail reform, but this issue here was this prosecutor here not doing his or her job. If we need more resources to ensure that...
No, you don't need resources.
No, just
you
to
need
make sure,
a DA who knows what he's doing.
You got to sue the city. Can't you?
Sorry.
I'm only saying if there is a need for more staffing around for this, whatever that is, I don't know what this was. It pure incompetence? I agree with you. I'm only saying
50 pages. How long does it take for you to catch incompetence?
Yeah, I mean, my 7-year-old probably could have figured this one out without a law degree. So look, I agree. I don't know what more to add other than we as a nation. I'm excited to see and encouraged to see the police chief. I don't know if he's a Democrat or Republican. He appeared to be African American. That he's. You said 5 intentional acts he's being charged. He's charging the person with. We need law enforcement, and we need district attorneys and prosecutorial teams that are going to enforce the law. And most important, the reason you enforce the law is to protect the public and serve the public, and hopefully we get more people wanting to do that.
Can't people sue the city if they're not enforcing the law? I mean, this is clear misconduct on behalf of the city.
Yeah, and there was no police pursuit apparently.
No.
So he was
Not in a
just
situation
purposely
like this.
plowing his car into this
It depends
crowd.
on whether it's foreseeable. If something is foreseeable, then, or if you, okay, Dana.
No, but I will.
But I do think that either they have to be sued or something has to happen. Because here's the thing. This guy has ruined the lives of so many people right before Christmas. They'll never get over it. Mm-hmm. And only justice might be that this process of having very left-wing progressive district attorneys, prosecutors that are not prosecuting crimes, that it only takes one case to become a rallying cry. I think this one should be it. If we're going to have a conversation about gun laws every time there's a shooting, mm-hmm. then it stands to reason that we should have a conversation about prosecutorial misconduct, which I think this is of the highest order, but it's happening not just in Kenosha, it's happening in cities all across America. We've been talking about it, and I think that starting next year in those elections, and the ones that are coming, is already happening in Seattle. They don't want to defund the police. All across the board, this case should be the rallying cry to end it.
I have to say one more thing. The judge is also at fault. The judge knew what the record was of this offender. He had just run over the mother of his child with his car, and he lets him out. When he had already jumped bail, he lets him out on bail. I mean, this is total stupidity or not caring about the rule of law, period. Yeah. Sorry.
And our hearts go out to the families at Waukesha.
Yes. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.